On that day, the dawn promised by the Skyfather shattered in haste. As the black tide surged, breaking through the walls with relentless grace. In a quaint yet exquisite courtyard, two bitter foes meet at journey's end. Their fates entwined in fate's regard. With no escape, no road behind, they trade a weary smile in kind. Together they gaze at the heavens of fire.
If I can ever see the faint light again and stay alive.
Then, Outlander Nemesis, you I will forgive.
Not long ago, as the romantic demigod closed her eyes, the girl bottled her tears in sorrow, and once more opened the dim-lit garden wide. Two figures step into the courtyard's gate. A general of Kremnos, her body torn, by vengeance bound, by fury swayed. A noble of the Holy City, once wrapped in gold, now haunted by a fate betrayed. A simple injury, or so the girl believed. Yet the two women met with scorn, their words like blades. Because their children fled in love's embrace, while bloodied pasts left scars in place. A feud unbroken by countless years. A chasm carved by blood and spears. This was a sickness beyond the girl's touch.
Just do your duty as a healer, girl.
Family feuds are like sunlight and storm clouds. They cannot mend.
At last, the girl saw it clear. The courtyard's birth in days of yore was born to mend the rift of dusk and dawn.
Then I will make every effort to have you cast aside your difference in this faint light.
Before long, the general's wounds were healed, and the noble's worries gently repealed. Yet when their gazes met once more, the loathing within remained unswayed. The girl then spoke the tale of her skykin, of a grandmother's sacrifice, a father's flight from within, of ancestors who descended, leaving their feud behind. Their hands in hers, she held them tight, yet flames of hatred burned too bright. She did not waver or despair. She just smiled and gazed upon the sky.
I will use my own fate to prove to you.
The courtyard, once bright, lay steeped in night. Hanging blossoms and wind chimes, all swallowed by the black tide. The general raised her spear, for the noble's sake, while the noble whispered prayers for the general, gentle as a lake.
If I can ever see the faint light again and stay alive.
Then, Outlander Nemesis, you I will forgive.
The death they awaited never came. Instead, a cascade of colors fell from the heavens. Simply there, protecting them both. The sky still burned, dark and low. Yet her words lingered, a gentle ember refusing to fade.
I will use my own fate to prove to you. Day and night can be mended, and so can hatred be undone.
Skycastrum, its ruins, like a blind and weary eye, gazes upon the earth in its dying sight. Alone, the girl remained upon the battlefield. No time to shy from the searing gold, no will to wear her usual smile. She fought her way to destiny's edge. Of the crumbled mural, but one piece endured. A corner portraying the Day Thunder Night, dazzling in blaze. She placed her hand upon the mural. Pain seared through skin and bone, as the picture claimed her within its lines.
Nothing is mightier than the sky. It holds countless wonders within its clouds, and each opening and closing of the eyes brings dawn and dusk.
In that painted world, the girl Celiosi's eyes glowed, watching her father, steel-clad and unyielding, cross the land beneath the searing sun. But the girl known as Hyacinth recalled her father's fragile light in the dark, the journeys into lands unknown, marked by endless sunlit days and restless winds.
The sky is the gentlest of all. It watches over all things with compassion, showering them with soft rain and morning light.
And yet, the sky remains so cold. It witnesses believers tear each other apart. And still, it cowardly flees from all responsibility.
Within the frame of that image, the one called Celiosi bore fury in her gaze, her golden blood trailing as she turned from home, sharpening arrowheads beneath the wide and barren sky. Hyacinth remembered her grandmother's song. She recalled her prayer to Aquila before her grandmother's journey, and how bitterness followed her to an unknown land.
But the sky is so lonely too. Forever distant from the world beneath, it watches every sorrow, unable to intervene.
No. The sky must be merciless. It must scorch the wicked, temper the fragile, and pass divine judgment upon all human wickedness.
Within the mural, the girl named Celiosi became the divine eye, gazing down without mercy, a titan passing judgment upon her own kind. But in memories deep, Hyacinth heard their call, the golden threads that shielded all, the burning sun, vast and unyielding, carrying the weight of all the world had known.
No, the sky must not forsake kindness. Through its boundless embrace, it carries the core flame of hope for humanity.
The sky, it's so dark, so cold.
In the depths of memory, the girl named Celiosi pulls her knees to her chest and trembles.
Then please, come sit in my courtyard.
A gentle ray of light seeped through. The celestial mural now fused anew. Once more, the land knows favor and boons. The girl who has now become the sky takes the hand of the girl who once was.
I want to tell you the secret of the sky's greatness. Whenever the anguished earth looks to it, it always offers a smile in return.
This is an age of ruin. The Chrysos War ignites once more, while Zagreus' taunts ripple through the city streets. This is also an age of splendor. 300 thieves spring forth from Dolos, each scheming to conceal the truth from prying eyes, robbing the rich to give succor to the poor.
Every one of them deceives gods and men alike. righteous and valiant.
The fling chase journey has been cut short midway. Yet the girl pounds her chest at the Gold Weaver, not afraid.
The core flame of trickery is near. If now isn't the time to risk it all, then when?
The prophecy reveals the Titan's trail. Golden threads bind the fleeing god of thieves. The young girl flashed a grin and walked towards the god, who was pretending to smile.
I once vowed to the god of thieves that I would force trickery to reap what they have sown.
The Titan whispered from the vortex, the god of trickery's earnest plea. They made a promise to the girl who entered the trial, that the whole world would be bathed in light. No more lies and deceit. The young girl recalled the hearth fire of her childhood.
Cifera, only honesty is well liked.
She pursed her lips.
That does sound like quite the ideal society. Of course I didn't accept. How boring would a world without deception be?
The young girl demonstrated her newly acquired divine power, molding lies into reality.
The defeated Titan is now not but a wandering soul.
But somewhere far away, a purple spirit thief opened bleary eyes. They had forgotten their previous life as a Titan, and remembered only the girl's crafty message.
Go! Collect treasure, you greedy little grave. Once you regain the memories of trickery from chests, then I will claim the reward for saving your life.
In the days spent away from Akuma, the girl grew accustomed to traveling alone. In a certain city, she heard of a spirit thief. Rumors aplenty.
I, Bartolo's master thief, shall take all you've labored to gain.
So saying, the spirit thief steals the girl's coin pouch and fled without a trace. But a gust of wind brushed past, and the girl had already caught them.
Running for it? Your life was saved by my trickery, you know.
The old god and the new finally reunite. The two rivals who, from that moment on, became thieves and companions both. It's just that the spirit thief's companion was always scaring them.
Hey, the fish in the River of Souls are starving, you know.
A thief reveals a few lies.
The first lie is called Fellow Thieves, come on and deceive gods with me.
The world has already forgotten that feast. Lies unnumbered that drowned the Day of Souls. Schemes uncounted, burning for a night of revelry. 300 thieves shackled in imprisonment, in exchange for a Titan's resigned confinement.
To have managed to trick the Grand Master of all tricks.
I can die happy now.
This was Dolos's great achievement. The deception of the gods, where even Zagreus was fooled.
The second lie is called The god of trickery is now not but a wandering soul.
Why did she spare the Titan's life? The young girl knew not, even after asking herself. Was it greed for the treasure they promised? Or had she vaguely perceived their lonely fate?
It's because you're every bit as despicable as I am. It's such a relief not having to deal with the noble.
The girl dismissed and made light of herself, only forgetting trickery was once a god that supported the world.
The third lie is called... Oh, eternal day! Endlessly illuminate the holy city.
At Dawncloud, the chaplain's secrets foretold the coming of that endless night.
What if my lies are more sophisticated? Can the dawn last forever? No end in sight?
Bearing the fate of the Thief Star, the girl was long used to walking in shadow. But as she gazed towards the holy city's dawn, her duty became fixed in her heart, stalwart in might.
The fourth lie is called... There's no reason! I just don't want to see you again!
The girl tried to mask her nonchalance, but could never fool the Golden Thread's questions. But it is the false-hearted malice that most powerfully forces belief. A true flame-chase hero willingly faded from attention, while the wayfaring traveler grasped tight onto fleeting light. She used divine power to forge a mask and conceal the last of her true heart.
The fifth lie is called... No. There are... no more... lies... left.
The whimsical coin fell to the ground, telling the tale of fate fulfilled. Travels unwitnessed, roses unknown. To whom may these now be told?
Lies are always but lies. But you can make them more beautiful than the truth.
Under the somber sky, golden blood soaked the thief's cloak. Like a golden thread tailored just for her, an exquisite robe that she never stole.
Final? Perhaps you're more suited to being a teacher's assistant.
There was once those who misunderstood his alias. Final. An eventuality for students. A test for knowledge gained. It may bring wisdom to light and illuminate efforts, but the word's more common meaning is nothing less than the end.
That's quite ominous.
The man pretended to be surprised and responded with a smile.
Though it does dovetail with our destiny.
Laughter resounds. The man walks the land, leaving footprints filled with joy. Despite the weight of the past, he can always laugh it away. Those nearby glance at each other, unsure of how to respond.
Perhaps I was just born easygoing.
His explanation is just as carefree.
Look at Mighty and Professor Anaxa. Boys all grow up into serious adults. But as long as I keep smiling, Akama will always have an upbeat, shining young man.
Though having said that, he too has quiet moments. Each time he gazed long toward the coming dawn, a smile remained fixed on his lips, paying no mind to anything else. His eyes were painted with the azure of the sky, gaze fixed on the Titan bearing the world.
I was just imagining.
He explained his own trance in a comment.
Kefali too was once in mortal flesh and raiment.
Now, when the man comes with sword in hand, there is no need to doubt he will swiftly win victory. But his smile is pure. Ever since the start of the journey, he is still called a youth in this story. Youth is always ambitious, with lofty goals. But it seems that in the man's heart, only the wishes of others are held.
Apart from the ideal of deliverance, what do you have left?
The golden-haired friend once asked him so. He remained silent. Then, as he was wont to do, he simply smiled.
As long as I don't ask for too much, everything will unfold as desired.
In Amphoreus, untitled statues are a prevalent sight. As for the inspiration behind these statues, they are said to be the clay figures that Kefali made at the world's creation. They made clay figures in their likeness, bestowed upon them the breath of life, and allowed the golden divinity of their blood to course through. Thus, the very first mortals roamed the earth, receiving the god's mercy, while realizing the sorrows of this world. But that sorrow was, in the end, only the sorrow of the world. Nobody ever cared what lay behind the smile, what the clay figure thought. The people likened him to the blazing sun, bringing to Amphoreus a glorious dawn. And for his part, he embraced their expectations, being willing to become the perfect vessel. Like that god who shouldered the world, the man never cried or frowned. Yet, he is not proud of his resolve, for sometimes he even avoids the funerals of the departed, only out of fear that he cannot cry for those in pain. He once sought out emotions of sorrow and walked with the lowliest of people.
Henceforth, your misfortune shall be my misfortune.
Responsibly and diligently, he protected all for the people, living in dilapidated cottages, sitting on aged stools, subsisting on nuts and fruit, beset by hunger and cold. The people thanked him for his grace, like a hearth warming winter nights. The man's presence dispelled the cold, leaving warmth with promises of morrow. Whence does his warmth come from? None asks. The man gradually perceives his true nature, but he dares not speak. Unable to bear the turmoil in his heart, the man set off on a journey once more.
Then, I shall go save what I can.
He was a formidable warrior, invincible in battle. And when it was necessary to sacrifice for fellows, he could do so with ease, giving up everything without a show. Just as the ballad blown on the breeze says, losses are a constant on the flame chase journey. Indeed, Sacrifices were not hard for him. Yet his misgivings grew with every tomorrow. Like a tear that cannot be shed, such a resolute willingness to let go comes only from the fact that in decisions, he is utterly unafraid to hurt himself.
It is because you suffer that you are so much stronger than any ordinary person.
There were also those who could understand him. Among them, the Crown Prince. But he smiled wryly in response. Perhaps everything was just human nature. Yet his misgivings never dissipated. This unknown man, in an unknown corner, from time to time, is swallowed by terror.
Could it be that, unknowingly, path I walk is by no means the correct one?
Fearing only that the greater the burden, the more the mistakes. The road trod by heroes need not be that beset by thorns. Finally, at the terminus of that road, in a desolate, empty place, the man's arms tremble. The power is beyond control, savaging all around it. This is the end of his road. But perhaps he had long foreseen it, but was doomed to be powerless to change it.
I am willing to shoulder this world. That is no lie.
But before the tears could flow, they were vaporized by the heat. His light blazed brighter than the sun, but beneath it, there was but cold destruction. The nameless hero, Khaslana. He had never loved himself. Why would he love this world? A gust of wind will one day sweep past, wiping away all the man's tracks. Nearly every footprint was stamped full of the fury that filled him. That humble youth faded away with the flames into yesterday. The first ray of light to pierce the long night was brought by the burning man. But the body that bore the weight of the world was forged by the fires of wrath. Rage is a crafty emotion. It changes its face, concealing itself within the man's life. His friend fought blood-soaked battles, so their people would need fight no longer. But every victory in battle he gained left him neither satisfied nor proud, only with the indifference of emptiness.
You must be careful. Duty does not drive you to wield your blade, but hate.
His teacher kindly reminded him thus.
And behind that hatred, you seem to desire the destruction of the self.
But what about his joy? Was that too merely a phony disguise? He who once laughed amidst the crowd, day after day, as though it were second nature. No. Even though he knew not the meaning of love, that happy past was not a lie someone wove. But now, even those memories have melted into fury. His hatred is such that he cannot hold on to what he cherishes, though all is precious to him. Fueled with lone courage, he attempted to resist fate, The burning sun that shines upon all creatures, once fallen, will incinerate the land, becoming golden death. But what of his sorrow? Indeed, the man could shed no tears. But at the moment the cycle manifested, when all that was familiar was now remote, the world collapsed, becoming empty in an instant. But the stabbing pain in the man's heart, was it but the residual warmth of his wraths? The truth no longer important. The man simply took another step forward. He wasn't willing to believe it, but was willing to acknowledge it.
There is no need to question your heart. No need to crave victory. If I am born to be a vessel of sin, then I shall roar at evil, and together with it burn.
In the endless cycles, there were some moments when the man felt everything dissolve like a dream. In that dream, he would awaken again and become once more the boy who loved to laugh. But were he to open his eyes, the fury would cast a shadow. He saw the creators choke his throat, gurgling and gasping, and in that boundless dream, he mistook them for his own jest. But their true forms were violent hatred towards the creators, towards himself, a roaring inferno. The prophecy departed. Amphoreus was unable to usher in the dawn. What rises in the distance is not the morning sun, but a ball of all-devouring fire, setting the universe in conflagration, searing till the end of time. Who would win? A young girl emerging from her sheath and showing her edge, or a tyrant who has emerged victorious from 100 battles? The Black and White Legion squared off on the battlefield, golden and crimson blood converging into a coursing river.
The leader herself actually dares to step forth and face peril?
The tyrant charged toward the exposed gap in the king's flank, and instantly fell into a trap of raging flames and iron rain.
On the board, the king too is but a chess piece. If the king does not lead, how would any dare to follow?
She lifted the king of the crystal pieces high, as though proclaiming the ascension of a new king. Who would win? The holy city that stood for 1,000 years? Or the foreign city-states invading from 1,000 miles away? Hollow hatred ignited the flames of war. The besieged walls of dawn tottered.
Only a miracle can save us now.
The cowardly elders barred themselves behind closed doors, while the trembling citizenry knelt and prayed.
There is no need to panic. The miracle is already here.
Under the banners dancing like waves, the burning crown shone bright as the wheeling constellations. Who would win? The general who saved the city, or the high and mighty with their privileged authority? The guillotine fell, severing the Elder's life. The whispers dissipated, and the scales of victory tipped.
From this day forth, I shall bring justice to the holy city.
The people cried out her name and knelt in reverence, but were stopped by the sound of the scepter of authority striking the ground.
Do not lower your heads beneath my crown.
This was the first, and also the only Imperator. Who would win? The heroes bursting with ambition, or the omnipotent gods?
The Imperator issued the decree! The start of the Flame Chase journey is at hand!
Perhaps drawn by the grand design to welcome the Era Nova, or perhaps convinced by that king's great renown. Righteous warriors from across the land gathered before the Imperator's throne. On the day the journey began, the sky was an expanse of fluttering banners. The people gazed upon the overwhelming military alliance, a golden city reflected in their eyes. As for the end of that chess game, the scholars debate endlessly, but such discussions always end with a sigh. The invincible Imperator faded at the pinnacle of power. The crown's flames extinguished in the lake. The banner, once revered by the people, along with the broken spears of the heroes. Now, a tomb. The people said,
"Even the sovereign that conquers all before her is no match for fate."
Yet she said,
In a war with fate, has there ever been any justice?
the black tide that blotted out the sky surrounded the city walls. The soldiers manning the walls battered from battle. Melodious chords of music were suddenly heard. A single swordmaster had overcome the waves of enemies. The song flowed from betwixt the blades, breaking through formations as a dorsal fin cleaving the waves. When the last wicked beast finally fell, shattered into pieces amidst the sword's dance, the Frostblade bore no trace of blood.
The legions of heroes under my command are as vast as the sea, yet lack a formidable sword banner.
The commander extended a hand, inviting the musician to join. Should a fish separated from its school glimpse a faint glow, it will swim toward the light. The swordmaster clasped the commander's hand, as though gently grasping the hilt of a keen blade. When the spray of her waves extinguished the fires of war from the holy city, a golden name was engraved upon the stone pillars. The former commander burned the crown to become king.
Hyacinthia, brave in battle, triumphant in command, I grant you the title Dux Gladiorum. Let us all forge ahead together.
During the banquet after the battle, the weaver tailored for her a splendid dress, and the commander poured her honey brew. Her golden-blooded comrades gathered about her, chanting her new name, urging her to play that splendid music. The candlelight danced and mingled with flowing drink. Swords and song ringing out in unison. Yet none knew that was once a lonely melody from the deep sea. The music of revelry continued for a long time, until the whispers of conspiracies were buried in the songs, until the roars of lethal struggle shattered the music. Legend holds that they who bear the weight of a pillar shall one day return to where it stands. Those who tug at the earth shall end amongst the mountains. Those who sow dawn and dusk shall remain eternal in the sky. And she would once again return to the pitch-black sea. And she would once again sing her music alone. The bountiful ocean, with the banquets of bygone days, stir as futile bubbles at the bottom of a glass. Many years later, the song once played by that swordmaster was played by future generations in the Holy City. The people knew the demigod of the seas was still a noble captain. She possessed peerless swordsmanship and a song that is passed down through the ages. It was just that she had long since vanished. Guests at the banquet sometimes spoke of her, but it was only a prayer between their cups.
Hyacinthia, melody of the waves, bless our night that we may drink deep and dance till dawn.
The gates of the Temple of the Three Fates gently open on the day of prayer, and the crowd crouched, whispering like the tide. The priests of Yanis listen to the prophecies. The unwavering axis of the scales of Talenton maintains balance, and only Orynyx remains silent.
Mother, teach me how to answer prayers.
The Titan tasked with time is as perplexed as a child.
Don't be scared. Please don't be afraid.
A familiar voice rings out.
Listen carefully. The future they want is in the past.
Like the first light of the morning star.
Really? In the past?
The child sank into a peaceful slumber of recollection, whispering revelations in their sleep. Until the masses crying out amidst the flames of war were swept away by the sounds of sharp swords locking. The fires of ambition incinerating the law.
Mother, usurper, assassinate the divine body.
Memories are tightly entangled by nightmares, with nowhere to run.
Don't be scared. Please don't be afraid.
An unfamiliar voice rings out.
Go to sleep. The ending they want is yet to be born.
Like the warm glow of the setting sun.
Really? Not here yet?
The child continues to sleep, waiting for the next waking dream. And when they open their eyes, 2 of the 3 fates who once received offerings had already faded from the pages of history.
Mother! Mother! I'm already all alone.
The child let out a helpless cry.
Don't be scared. Please don't be afraid.
A familiar voice rings out in the mirror.
Just wait. The stars that illuminate the night will visit in the end.
Like gentle moonlight. The gates of the Temple of the 3 Fates now close tight. People no longer pray to a titan who cannot touch the world. Within the inescapable dreamscape, the flower stems nourished by the black tide serve as a swaddling embrace, drowning the young child's soul.
Mother! Mother! Help me leave this place.
But this time, they didn't receive a response. Only long years of yearning and pain. Like the silence of the Evernight. Days and nights passed. The years turned. Dust covers the glory of the past. The priests have forgotten this titan.
Waiting. Hate waiting.
They watched over the slumbering sprite, gazing at the dull mirror. But a fleeting mirage flickers in the mirror. The shining stars and the lights of the home. And a strange yet familiar voice.
Wake up! Our familiar old friends have already arrived.
Like the newborn dawn. The ancient chaos was shrouded in silence and shadow. The giant dragon's offspring was born from the earth. Sweet dreams had smothered the giant dragon's eyes and ears. And as they slept, the 100 eyes of Aquila had already opened. And Fagusa had begun to stir the playful waves. Yet Giorios remained weighty and silent. Layer upon layer of peaks enveloped the dragon, cradling them in a bed more grand than any in existence. The giant dragons spent their childhood in darkness. From the moment their bleary eyes blinked open from haze of slumber, they hungered to feast on crude iron and drink deep of molten lava. Until one day, they raised their head, and with a low, guttural voice, pleaded to glimpse light. The Titan lifted them up by their ribs, slowly raising them. The dragon's spine sliced through the strata of rock, cutting open the soil. When they reached the surface, they summoned mist woven of the fire of the stars. As though seeing themselves clearly and in full, through the eyes of a giant bird. The giant dragon walked the earth alone. The Titan knew they were lonely and terrified too, and so sculpted new beasts from flesh and bone. In that wild, barren world, the giant dragon led the beasts of the earth. Excessively long life gifted the giant dragon with eyes that could pierce the veil of years. they witnessed the separation of day and night, as well as the entanglement of reason and romance. And even Kefali did not neglect to share with them a chalice of golden blood. The ocean teased, saying, even should the earth sink utterly, they would not rot. Ever since they opened their eyes, the giant dragon rarely returned to slumber. And thusly, that mesmerizing dream that occasionally burst forth at night etched a trace on their memory. The gods they were familiar with were in this dream, and they were as immense and imposing as ever, yet had lost their freedom. Just what manner of magnificent Pathstrider could imprison the Titan's mere reflections? The giant dragon dreamed also of their own path, that great breath from the heavens, or perhaps from beyond even the heavens. They dreamed of silver shards amongst the stars, reflecting the form of another giant dragon. That great cerulean dragon approached Amphoreus, the distant whispers roiling, becoming a roar engraved on the earth. They recognized the meaning in that low roar. Its name, permanence.